Today, May 3rd, just one day before we celebrate the 74th anniversary of the independence of the State of Israel, we unite in the memory of our heroes, the IDF fallen soldiers and victims of terror attacks, in Israel and outside of it, who sacrificed their life for the sake of existence of Israel.
This will serve as a
In Israel, we hear the memorial siren on Erev Yom HaZikaron and on the day of Yom HaZikaron. We all stop. We get outside of our cars, stop working, stop doing whatever we're doing, and we remember. We remember and respect those who died. We connect to our emotions, those we sometimes try to forget.
You should have repeated it. It was 2 seconds. You could have just repeated it.
Yeah, but couldn't understand the rest.
Are we supposed to be hearing the siren?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Forty's Core, read by Rabbi Michael Stone and Steve Cohn, and El Maleh Rachamim, read by Rabbi Paskov and Miriam Baumgartner. Please rise.
Adina, somebody can't hear you. I don't know what to do. No, there's somebody else that can hear me.
יזכור עם ישראל את בניו ובנותיו, הנאמנים והאמיצים חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, וכל לוחמי המחתרות והטיבות ולוחמים המערכות העם, וכל אנשי קהילת המודיעין, הביטחון ואנשי המשטרה, אשר חירפו נפשם במלחמה על תקומת ישראל, וכל אלה שנרצחו בארץ ומחוצה לה, ידי המרחצים מארגוני הטרור. יזכור ישראל ויתברך בזרעו ויעבל על זיו העלומים, בחמדת הגבורה הקדושה, הרצון מיסות הנפש של הנספים במערכות הכבדה, ויהיו גיבורי מערכות ישראל, עטורי הניצחון, חתומים בלב ישראל לדור לדור.
May the nation of Israel remember its sons and daughters, faithful and courageous, the soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces and all members of the undergrounds and brigades, the warriors in the battles at sea, members of the intelligence community, security personnel, policemen, and those in the prison service who gave up their lives in war to ensure the existence of Israel, along with all those who were killed within Israel and outside of Israel at the hands of murderers and terrorists. May the nation of Israel and the Exalted One remember the radiance of their youthfulness, their delightfulness, heroism, purity of will, and the selflessness of all those who fell in the costly wars. May the fallen heroes of the wars of Israel be crowns of victory, and may their names be inscribed upon the hearts of Israel for all generations.
Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamrumim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Al Kanfei Shechina, B'Ma'alot Kedoshim, Teorim V'Giburim, Kezohar Harakim Asirim, L'Nishmot HaKdoshim, Shenilchamu B'chol Marachot Yisrael, B'Machteret U'Vitzvah HaHagana L'Yisrael, V'Shenaflu B'Milchamtam, U'Masru Nafsham Al Kedushat Hashem, Ha'am v'ha'aretz, ba'avur she'anu mitpalalim le'ilui nishmotehem, l'chein bal harachamim, yasdireim b'seter knafav lo'olamim, v'yitzror b'tzror ha'chaim et nishmotehem, Adonai hu nachalatam, v'gan eden menuchatam, v'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavotam, v'tamod l'chol Yisrael zchutam, v'yamdu l'goralam l'ketz hayamin, v'nomar, Amen.
Holy, compassionate God on high, to the souls of those among our people who bravely gave their lives for the redemption of our land, grant clear and certain rest with you in lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever shelter them in the embrace of your wings, secure their souls in eternity. Lord, they are yours. They will rest in peace. Amen. Please be seated.
On the 24th of October, 1985, while patrolling in the north, Chen was involved in an operational misfunction. While he was trying to throw a lightning bomb in the direction of suspicious sounds, a malfunction occurred and the bomb exploded, killing him. He was 22 years old. His friends created a monument in his memory, and many of his friends named their children Chen after him. However, his story became known a few years later when a friend of his, who was a well-known songwriter, Yoni Roth, met Chen's mother, Eliza. Yoni at first did not recognize her as she had changed in just a few years. He noticed the gray in her hair and the sadness in her eyes. After the meeting, he wrote the song Et Pri Ganach, Your Garden Fruit, about a mother anticipating the return of her child, although she knows he will not return. The song came out in 1989 and since then has become one of the most popular songs on Israel's Memorial Day.
כוכבים מסר עליו, את שם יושבת בוהה באפלה, שעה חולפת יום ושנה, ואת עדיין לא מחכה. שעה חולפת יום ושנה, עוד איך עובדת שבויה באמונה.
את פרי גנך את תבקשי, מילך יאמר מילך ישיר, מרכבת שבה הבטיח לשוב בחזרה, שהנה קרבה אותה שעה, שבה הבטיח לשוב בחזרה. דומיה עוטפת העתוקה, ובליבך נותרה משאלה, שעה חולפת יום ושנה, ואת עדיין לא ממתינה. שעה חולפת יום ושנה, עוד איך זוכרת ולא מאמינה.
את פרי גנך תבקשי, מילך יומם ומילך ישיר. מה כאבך עוברים הימים, נותרת לבדך, רוצה להאמין
שהנה קרבה אותה שעה, שבה הבטיח לשוב בחזרה, שהנה קרבה אותה שעה, שבה הבטיח לשוב בחזרה.
את פרי גנך תבקשי,
מילך יומם ומילך ישיר.
מה כאבך עוברים הימים, נותרת לבדך, רוצה להאמין
שהנה קרבה אותה שעה, שבה הבטיח לשוב בחזרה, שהנה קרבה אותה שעה,
שבה הבטיח לשוב ולא שב.
Yom HaZikaron is the Israeli Day of National Remembrance. It honors and remembers all the soldiers and others who lost their lives during the struggle to defend the Jewish state of Israel. On this day, we mourn and remember our fallen soldiers and all the lives lost to terror. Tomorrow, we celebrate Yom HaTzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. Israel law stipulates that Independence Day begin the moment that Remembrance Day ends. The state of Israel would not be able to celebrate its existence today if it were not for those who gave their lives protecting it. Yom HaZikaron reminds us of the price paid for independence and of all that was achieved with the soldiers' sacrifice. This transition shows the importance of this day among Israelis, almost all of whom have served in the armed forces and almost all of whom have a connection to those who were killed during their military service. In the past year, 57 IDF soldiers and security personnel and 23 victims of terrorism have died. An additional 84 disabled IDF veterans died from those disabilities. In total, 28,284 IDF soldiers, police officers, prison wardens, Shin Bet security and service and Mossad agents and victims of terrorism have been killed since 1860 defending the Free State Yishuv in Israel. The best of the best were not motivated by money. Their aim was to protect their nation, even if it meant sacrificing their lives. Their question was not how can Israel be preserved at any cost, but how could Israel be preserved into the future. We honor their memory and everything they fought for so that tomorrow we merit celebrating our independence. And then we will light a memorial candle to honor and respect those who sacrificed their lives for the state of Israel. Again, the victims of wars, prisoners of wars, and missing in action. The acts of terror victims, those who placed of burials unknown, and those who died while serving.
These are the names of the soldiers and civilians who we lost during 2021. Yosef Chaim Yitzchakov, Nikita Danielsky, Avi Avraham Harlev, Tom Hen Hanks, Ariel Givati Tupperberg, Amikam Attinger, Asa Gilad, Chaim Eyal Ben Chamo, Bassam Sawayed, Naim Madi, Eliyahu Abodi, Yonatan Granot, Shonti, רחמים שפריר, יוסף חיים שלום, הילה ביסטרי, מיכאל בן שטרית, ניבה בשדי מנסורט, יובל חמצני, מידן מאיר, יעקב ולבר, ירין סוסן, אבינועם בוכריס, ציון שבו, רם דעוז, אמיר כהן, מירב בכר שמש, עומר טביב, קודדאו ירגה, מרסל אוחנה, חנן לושקוב, ניסים אבנאים, יעקב קצב, אדיר כץ, אילון ניסימוב, ירין ששפורטש, אריה ברלין, שני בהיר, שושה, בשאר דראושה, שילי בסטל, שרון אסמן, ליאון לופמן, חיים כהן, דוד טירנגל, הדס סימנטוב, יקותיאל גרשוני, מידן ביבר, גדי דייצמן, נדב גרמאי אימר, אופק בוזנה, עומר חג'בי, בראל חדריה שמואלת, מרים אבו, חוסן זגיר, שאול ויצמן, שאולי, אלדר לוגסי, אברהם וקנין, מאיר שמעון עזמה, דניאל פוקסוב, אבבה דרסך, אבבה טרקין, חזי אברהם, לבנה הדר אלגזי, לירון אסתר, שאול גוחרברג, יצחק זנזורי, אור איילות אורצ'י, אברהם הכהן, אופיר לוי, עידו דוד אביגל, מרים אריה, איגור בירבורבר, רויטל בראל, יהודה גואטה, נלה גורביץ, יהודה דימנטמן, אבי הר אבן, יבון חווה וקנין, רון ורד, יגאל יהושע, לאה יום טוב, אילנה כהן, יצחק לוי, אורלי לירון, סקרהין סגמרם, סהומיה סנטוש, חליל עווד, נדין עווד, גרשון אשר פרנקו, אליהו דוד אליקי, וירעוור קרונבורי טרק, זלדה ריכטר, טל נורני. I would also like to mention the innocent people who died in the past few months during the terror attacks. שיראל אבוקרט, יזן פלח, דוריס יחבס, הרב משה קרבצקי, לובה יצחק, מנחם יחזקאל, תומר מורד, איתה מגני, ברק לופן, אמיר חורי, יעקב ישראל שלום, אבישי יחזקאל, ויקטור Victor Sokopot, ודמיטרי מיטריק, וצ'יסלב ולדיקולב. יהי זכרם ברוך.
Yom Haledet Yeled V'Yeled Net, the birthday of a dead child, by Ora Leper. The birthday of a dead child, Ora Leper.
Closer. No, it's not. It doesn't sound like it's on the phone.
Turn it off. Should I repeat? Yeah. Yes, no? Yes.
Up to you.
My child's birthday. I did not hug you. I did not stop to talk with you. All I knew was you were not with me. I tried to draw in words the feeling in the heart, but there was no sequence of words that matched the fullness of the pain. All the words were shallow, colorless, and overused, and I was looking for a unique word, one single word to describe the heart of a bereaved mother. And I thought of a heart that continuously bleeds, and a black cloud that follows everywhere, and a huge and vast pit, and a womb that is a well of tears, and a constant tightness in the throat, and a tear that is stuck and does not fall. A birthday for a dead child. And I thought perhaps the simple word gone. But this was not big and powerful enough. And finally, I chose the most dreadful two words of all. He was. This was written by Ora Leper Mintz in memory of her son, Raz Mintz, and I read it in memory of Noam Nayerson, the son of my dear friends Gila and Herbie Mintz.
Please, God, at this time when we remember those who perished, shed your light on the parents and widows, orphans, brothers, sisters, and friends. Illuminate their days, adjust their dreams, give them the strength to live to be. Instill in them hope, fragments of joy. May they know how to balance between memory and mourning, between building and destruction, and give us wisdom to be there for them, to support them, to know how to distinguish between the power of a word and the power of silence, to make a way to make the right choice between closeness and distance, between demand and seclusion, and peace shall come in the land. Peace be within the walls and prosperity within thy palaces. And life and peace from the word to the world will reconcile the land. And he shall make peace, will make peace on us and within us. And we shall all say, Amen.
In the past few months, we were evidence of terror attacks in Israel. Beside all those emotions of helplessness, desperate, and sadness, there is always another thought sneaking in. Now another name is added to the list. Now more people are part of the brave families. When you have those thoughts in your head, alongside the thousands of people visiting the different military cemeteries to visit their loved ones, then you realize that everyone knows someone who died, or they know someone who knows someone who died. This is probably one of the meanings of the IDF being Tzva Am, People's Army, and having a mandatory service. I was born into a brave family. My mother lost her older brother, Rafi. My grandparents lost their son. It means that it was always part of my life, since I can remember myself. When I was a child, I didn't understand what it means that my mom has a brother, but he is not there anymore. I didn't know what was this memorial event for this person that I don't know. But unfortunately, I learned. I learned what it means to be a great family. I learned who was Rafi, my uncle, and I learned what it's like to lose someone. It never gets easy. It's the other way around. I feel like every year it gets harder and harder. When I was younger, I didn't always go to the cemetery and I didn't want to go to school because I wanted to run away from it. I wanted to run away from the difficulty and the sadness. But when the years went by, it was something I couldn't run away from. My friends went into Gaza and fought, which means that every day, when the names of soldiers who died were published, you're afraid to look because it might be someone you know or even one of your friends. And it's not just a feeling during the war or an operation. The list of names that I have got longer with the years. Excuse me. Rafi Rafael Kaikov, my uncle. Eitan Shachar, my aunt's husband. Hila Bitzaleli, a friend I met at a Region Student Council conference. Takaba Tashala, former soldier of mine. Eden Haddad, a student in my school. Ohad Shemesh, an ambassador at the same organization that I was at, LEAD, Israel Youth Leadership Development. For each person, I have a story, whether I was close to them or not, but I knew them and I will always remember them. I have few days in a year when it's really hard for me to be away, and this is one of these days. It's hard for me to be here today, to be so far away from my family, my friends, and my country. But I want to thank you for coming tonight to support and respect. It means the world to me, to them.
Now you finally rest. Now you finally rest, my tired, restless son. Your broad shoulders are as narrow as the dimensions of the coffin in the earth. Now you are finally safe, my beautiful boy, fraught with dangers. Your feet are straightening up and your body is protected in the lands whose borders you ran through during sleepless nights, carrying stretchers, machine guns, mortars. The country you love turns its head, but perhaps the earth is embracing you, and maybe a flower will sprout from the tear.
A Million Stars is a song written and composed by Yiftach Kresner in 2006 in memory of his friend, pilot Captain Tom Farkash, who was killed in an Apache helicopter crash during the Second Lebanon War. The song was first sung by Tom's sister, Amit Farkash, at his funeral. The song addresses the late Tom Farkash, starting with the opening line, quote, "You wanted to fly, you already wanted to move on," unquote. And in its center is the request, which appears at the end of the first stanza and at the end of the song, quote, "Let just one more second say hello," unquote.
כבר הלאה עם חצי חיוך, עלית למעלה מיליון כוכבים בשמיים תופסים את הצבע שלך בעיניים. תן רק עוד שנייה אחת לומר לך שלום. רצית לעוף, הלכת רחוק מדי בתוך הטירוף, אין מי שישמור עליי. מיליון כוכבים בשמיים תופסים את הצבע שלך בעיניים. רציתי שנייה אחת לומר לך שלום. אני רציתי לשיר, אתה הרמת גיטרה, מלאך מנגן לי עכשיו, אז איתך אני שרה. מיליון כוכבים בשמיים תופסים את הצבע שלך בעיניים. רציתי לשיר לך, לומר לך שלום. רציתי שנייה אחת לומר לך שלום. תן רק עוד שנייה אחת לומר לך שלום. ביי טוב.
I wanted to pick a little flower. My mom told me it's forbidden. This flower is protected. And the world has rules. You are not allowed to pick protected flowers. And maybe I am just a little girl who does not know or understand. But I think it is so strange that flowers are protected and soldiers are not.
For prayer for the peace of the state of Israel, read by Rabbi Daniela. Please rise.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל בגואלו, ברך מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו. הגן עליה בברכת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך, ושלח אורך ועמך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. חזק ידי מגני ארץ קודשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטר ניצחון תעטרם. ונתת שלום בארץ, בשמחת עולם ליושביה. ותחנו כל בית ישראל, כל נא בכל ארצות פזוריהם, ותוליכם מהרה קוממיון לציון עירך, לירושלים משכן שמך. ככתוב בתורת משה עבדך. אם יהיה נידחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהינו, משם יקחך. וביאך אדוני אלוהינו לארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך וירשתה, והיטיבך בלבך מאבותיך. ויחל לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך, ושלח לנו מהרה בן דוד ומשיח צדקך, לפדות מחלקת ישועתך. עופר והדר ביום עוזך, על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו. אדוני אלוהי ישראל, מלך ומלכותו והכל משלה. אמן. סלע.
Please be seated. A special project by the IAF Widows and Orphans Organization for Yom HaZikaron 2017 brings singer Abraham Tal together with the children of the Israel's fallen heroes. The song, Become Strong, talks about how even in hard times, we get out stronger.
המילים מרגיעות והרגש עוד סתום, כל מילה במקום והלב נשאר אטום, והימים כל כך יפים, הלילות של החורף הזה מזכירים לי ימים קסומים.
2 דקות מספיקות, תתני לי יד ונצעד מפה, גם בגוף וגם בלב, עוד תתני לגעת בכאב, והימים כל כך יפים, הלילות של החורף הזה מזכירים לי ימים קסומים.
אל תדאגי, אני כאן, אני רואה שבחיים הגלגלים מסובבים את כולם, המלחמות, ההיפוכים, בסוף יוצאים מחוזקים לעולם. הזמנים לא קלים, נעלם בין הצללים, מתעורר בבהלה ונמלט מהשכחה, והימים כל כך יפים, הלילות של החורף הזה מזכירים לי ימים קסומים. אל תדאגי, אני כאן, אני רואה שבחיים הגלגלים מסובבים את כולם, המלחמות, ההיפוכים, בסוף יוצאים מחוזקים לעולם. אני רואה שבחיים הגלגלים מסובבים את כולם, המלחמות, ההיפוכים, בסוף יוצאים מחוזקים לעולם. מסובבים את כולם.
אני רואה שבחיים הגלגלים מסובבים את כולם, המלחמות, ההיפוכים, בסוף יוצאים מחוזקים לעולם.
Throughout Israel's history, different songs have been written about specific soldiers using their own words or on their honors. Between 2001 and 2013, there was a special project on Galei Tzahal station called We Will Soon Become a Song, Od Ma'at Nahapok L'Shir. Starting today, we have an exhibit with part of these songs and soldier stories. The exhibit will be open between Monday to Friday, from today until May 13, from 9 to 4 p.m. You're welcome to listen to the songs and end by lighting a candle in the soldier's honor. Please rise for Hatikva.
אורות
נפש יהודי
Thank you all for joining us this evening to remember and honor those who sacrificed their lives for the state of Israel and those innocent victims who were killed by acts of terror. May God bring peace on earth. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, tal kol Israel, v'nomar amen.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eddie.